Now on CoastTV News.
Future work sessions planned for short-term rentals in Ocean City. Homeowners react.
Places for the homeless in the cold. Shelter organizers saying a center in Rehoboth Beach is the most popular during the day.
People filling the final shopping carts last minute. We'll show you the final rush to the grocery store before Thanksgiving.
And a blast of Arctic air is about to arrive right on our doorstep.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Police activity in downtown D.C. after 2 National Guardsmen are shot and killed. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with breaking news out of our nation's capital.
The Guardsmen were near the Farragut West Metro Station. That's near the White House when they were shot. The 2 were from West Virginia, according to that state's governor. D.C. police say a suspect is in custody, and the president calling the shooter an animal. The president saying the shooter is also severely wounded. National Guard troops from multiple states have been in D.C. for months as part of President Donald Trump's anti-crime crackdown in D.C. Now, this is a developing story. We will be sure to update you as more information becomes available.
This week, the Ocean City Council reviewed their in-house survey, hoping to align members on how to handle short-term rentals. CoastTV News reporter Kevin Zappé is live in Ocean City. Kevin, this survey comes as a moratorium on new short-term rental licenses is days away from being extended.
Charlie, according to the Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan, the meeting was also held yesterday so that the council members can find an agreement on an ordinance so that they could end the current moratorium. But with so many options still on the table, a resolution before that deadline seems unlikely. Ocean City homeowners are reacting to the short-term rental debate.
My take personally is it's our property, we pay the taxes. I believe we should do as we wish.
I think a short-term rental to me is 1 rental per week.
On Tuesday, the Ocean City Council met to discuss possible changes they may want to implement for short-term rentals in residential neighborhoods and mobile home communities. After hours of discussion, these are some of the proposed ordinances they plan to review during future work sessions. Requiring a 7-night minimum stay, freezing or limiting the number of short-term rental licenses in these areas, limiting how many short-term rentals a single owner or entity can operate, and allowing only 1 renter per 7 days, something Michael Bell says would be beneficial.
If somebody's in there for 1 night or 3 nights, that's fine, but just 1 rental per week.
But Sharon Flickup believes these will be difficult to enforce.
There's really no way to over-monitor things. I feel like that's sort of government overkill.
We spoke with Kathy Bircher, an Airbnb policy manager who attended Tuesday's meeting. She says some of these regulations have the potential to affect tourism in town, something she says is already seeing a decline.
So we are seeing a decline in visits, a decline in the number of nights visitors are staying in Ocean City, and with all of that, a decline in tourism revenue.
While people begin planning their next summer vacation, Ocean City will continue to debate.
Now, we're an asset to this town, we're not a liability.
The future of short-term rentals. Now, there's currently no timeline on when these new proposed rules will be discussed, but on Monday, they will be discussing a moratorium and if they should extend it for an extra 12 months. I'm Kevin Zappé, live in Ocean City, CoastTV News.
This July, a special election in Ocean City overturned an ordinance that would have had a 5-night minimum stay and a 31-night minimum by 2027 in those neighborhoods. That vote sent the town council back to the drawing board. The opposition says the special election should have been the end of any attempt to add new regulation in those areas.
Homelessness is rising in Sussex County, especially in places like Georgetown, and according to the Lewis police chief, with cold temps expected in the coming weeks, places for people without a house are limited. CoastTV News reporter Brandon Ferguson is live in Lewis. Brandon, a tent village is closing down for the season on Monday.
Charlie, people in the Taros Tent Village will be welcomed here to the Lewis St. Jude location as a part of Code Purple. Code Purple houses 14 men here in a Lewis location and 14 women in a Rehoboth Beach location, but just overnight from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Site director Mike Agnew for Code Purple tells us during the daytime they take a bus full of people that stayed overnight to the Rehoboth Beach Community Center, where they get essential items.
The Community Resource Center in Rehoboth Beach during the day, where they can get a shower, they can get their laundry done, get some food to eat, and then they cycle back to us in the evening.
The director of the community center tells Coast TV they're busiest during the morning hours, and they do expect to see more people as temps drop. Live in Lewis, Brandon Ferguson, Coast TV News.
Thank you, Brandon. And we're taking a live look into Laurel right now. We're talking about temperatures dropping, so we need to check in with Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams, because today it was warm, tomorrow it may not be.
Right now, we want to take this opportunity to focus in on just how dangerously low the temperatures are going to drop, and more importantly, the wind chill factor, which actually is more of a medical concern when the temperatures drop so dramatically. So starting as early as tomorrow morning, it's going to feel like, we'll have a wind chill of 35 for the beaches, 33 for the inland areas. That's just 1 degree below freezing. Then the cold really grips us on Friday. We drop down to 25, the beaches, 23 inland areas like Georgetown, Milton, as well as Ellendale. And then that's not even the worst of it. Look at what happens Saturday morning when a lot of folks might not be thinking about it so much. We're going to drop down to 21 in places like Seaford, Georgetown, Millsboro, and we'll drop to 20 for the wind chill factor in Selbyville when you factor in the winds coming out of the northwest, which is a dry cutting wind, along with the significant drop in temperatures. And because it feels so mild right now, that dramatic swing is where the problem comes into play. Back to you.
Thank you, Paul. Shoppers at the Redners in Georgetown were doing their last-minute shopping, going down their lists for all things Thanksgiving. We saw people buying stuffing, Hawaiian rolls, chocolate-covered pretzels, even some rotisserie chickens, not turkey, seriously. Shoppers like Nick Glorioso say that despite the growing shopping list, he remains grateful.
I love it. Yeah, that's fine. Getting family together and sitting around, that's what it's all about, being thankful and blessing the food and hopefully having a great year.
If you still need to shop, that Redners is open until 10 tonight.
And drivers already hitting the road for Thanksgiving, so let's take a live look at the Bay Bridge. You can see how many cars and trucks are just out there. This is slow going, I think. MDOT says the best time to travel across today is after 7 p.m. Tomorrow it would be before 10 a.m. and then after 3 p.m. and Friday before 9 a.m. and after 6 p.m. And again, just look at this traffic. You're going to want to stay away from the busiest times of day.
And let's look at the Delaware Memorial Bridge. This is southbound entering the Memorial Bridge. This is up in northern Delaware. Actually flowing pretty well up there. That was recorded just before our newscast. DelDOT says last Thanksgiving weekend there were 362 crashes and actually 4 serious injuries. And if you take the DART bus regularly, gotta plan ahead for tomorrow. The Delaware Transit Corporation says there's no DART bus service on Thanksgiving Day. They say regular DART service will resume Friday, the 28th.
This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, are you traveling for Thanksgiving?
Let's take a look at the results. 61% say they are staying at home. 15% say surrounding states, so maybe that Bay Bridge traffic we saw there. 24% say they're going somewhere local, so maybe a little closer to home. Nobody right now has said they're going international or across the country.
If you want to go vote, you can do that. You can also leave us a comment. Just go to coasttv.com or use that handy mobile app.
President Trump says he will send his chief envoy to Russia next week to meet with President Vladimir Putin in an attempt to end that country's war with Ukraine.
But now, as NBC's Melanie Zanona reports, that envoy, Steve Witkoff, is drawing criticisms from both sides of the aisle, with one Republican member of Congress calling for him to be fired.
A day before President Trump's self-imposed deadline for a Russia-Ukraine peace deal, the president now apparently willing to let it slide.
You know what the deadline for me is? When it's over.
After developing the framework for a peace deal in Geneva, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky wants to come to Washington to work out the final details directly with President Trump. But Mr. Trump is content to let his diplomats handle the negotiations.
He would like to come, but I think we should get a deal done first.
The president says envoy Steve Witkoff will meet with Russia's president as soon as next week. But now, controversy, after Bloomberg published a transcript of a phone call between Witkoff and a Russian ambassador. Witkoff appears to coach the Russians on how to deal with President Trump. Even some Republican lawmakers uncomfortable with the exchange. Congressman Don Bacon writing on X, would a Russian paid agent do less than he should be fired. President Trump downplaying the call.
I haven't heard it, but I heard it was standard negotiation.
Ukraine seems more open to the deal's terms after the original 28-point Trump plan was scaled back. That plan was seen as more sympathetic to Russia, granting it Ukrainian territory it doesn't currently occupy, and limiting the size of the Ukrainian military. European allies watching negotiations closely.
If today we legitimize and formalize the undermining of borders, we open the doors for more wars tomorrow, and we cannot let this happen.
Russia threatening to walk away from negotiations if the original plan is off the table.
The Russians, what they're good at is saying no and repeating the same thing. That's how they negotiate. The Russians think that they have the upper hand.
The Kremlin says the leak of that phone call transcript to Bloomberg News was designed to disrupt the peace talks. The Russians also warning that any speculation the deal to end the war in Ukraine is close is premature. Melanie Znona, NBC News, Washington.
Coming up on Coast TV News at 5, the price of Thanksgiving food, what's cheaper and what's not this year.
We have one more quick evening sprinkle before the Arctic air invades our neck of the woods.
But first, the Sober Rides initiative, how to claim your voucher, up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
The Delaware Office of Highway Safety is bringing back Sober Rides for a second year in a row. The Sober Rides is an initiative where the Office of Highway Safety provides Delawareans $20 vouchers.
Just head over to mysoberrides.com. You get $20 for Lyft or Uber to use if you go out tonight.
Last year, over 700 Sober Rides were provided.
If you need to get to your destination safely, don't drive distracted, put cell phones and distractions away, pay attention to the roadways, and make sure you have an ample amount of space between you and the vehicle in front of you.
Rideshare vouchers are available for use starting at 3 p.m. tonight until 3 a.m. tomorrow morning to help riders get home safe in Delaware.
Coming up next, Paul Williams in our Weather Center with our full chilly forecast.
Because of our temperature turnaround and the significance and the lack of moisture in the atmosphere that's going to happen in the next 24 hours, we've got to put you on notice. We're not going to break records, but boy, are we going to probably break your mood during the holiday. You see, in Milford currently, we're at 63 degrees. That's skyrocketing above the normal 56 for this time of the year. And we have plenty of moisture in place with the cloud cover, and we'll drop to 56 degrees for later tonight. Let me go ahead and set the stage for you. First of all, warming up to 67 for the high today, 55, pardon me, I said 56, I meant 55 for the norm. That's a good 12 degrees above where we should be. And it wasn't just in our Georgetown location, it's everywhere. We're at 67 right now throughout portions of Millsboro. We're at 65, for example, in Seaford, and we're just unusually warm everywhere. Despite that, we do still have some very active winds with gale wind watch in effect going into tomorrow. This is really going to kick in significantly for us tomorrow. Even the small craft advisory, and the difference between the two, 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts, 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts, still blustery regardless of where you are. And we take that same motif and we apply it over into the Chesapeake Bay area until Friday. Here's how it changes up. Today's lows started off at 60. Now that wasn't a record low, record high starting point. 72 is actually that, but still warmer than usual, and we are trending in the warm way. Here comes the cold. 33, for example, overnight before we settle in, and then, we're already on the cold side. Now, as we go into Turkey Day, expect it to feel a lot colder than today. Don't let today fool you, okay? It's fool's gold for today. 48 for the high, that's already below that 55. Arctic air arrives in full force. We have the winds out of the west, temperatures in the 40s, 47, for example, just about everywhere you go throughout the Delmarva Peninsula. So we're all in unison in dealing with this cold. Here we go. Starting at 5 o'clock, it's going to start feeling like 35, 34 degrees. And this is the warmest day out of the next three. Yeah, I said that with my full chest, okay? Watch this. We're going to go from warm greetings to cold turkey, okay? We're going to have cold air cutting all the way deep into the deep south. Not just there, but look at some of these numbers. 23, then down to 21. That's what it's going to feel like. And it's not backing off anytime soon. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. And that little brief break on Sunday. Don't get happy. We go right back to being cold again next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
I think a lot of people are spending the day after Thanksgiving decorating for Christmas, and we want to see your holiday decorations. Send all us your photos and videos to coasttv.com/holidayhouse, and we might even show them on TV.
This year's Bless Our Children campaign is in full swing. As you can see, we need your help to fill up this Christmas tree with cards and donations. We're raising money to ensure that every child on Delmarva has that special present to open on Christmas. We did receive this card here. This is from Carl and Linda Thomas from Dagsboro. Great picture of a snowman and snowflakes, iconic winter scene. They write, "Merry Christmas and thank you for all that you do." Carl and Linda, thank you for your assistance during this time. Businesses can help by accepting the Shell Brothers Challenge of donating at least $1,000. And if you want to help, send a donation and a holiday card. And we may just read it on the air like we just did here. Send a check or money order to the address on your screen or donate online at blessourchildren.org.
We've already raised $150,881 to help children and families this holiday season. And again, thank you to all that have donated.
Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 8:30, Gerstle Academy takes on Saints Peter and Paul in boys basketball. Then catch the final score at 10:30.
And coming up, the big boys tomorrow, NFL. You can watch Thanksgiving football right here on Coast TV. The Baltimore Ravens hosting the Cincinnati Bengals during that holiday. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. and then stay tuned for Coast TV News after the game.
We salute Floyd Toomey, who served his country and community for more than 20 years in the military and law enforcement before his passing in 2021. As a constable at Philip C. Showell Elementary School, he safeguarded students with the same dedication that defined his lifelong service. Floyd's deep love for his family and community guided everything he did. He is profoundly missed, and his legacy of integrity and commitment continues to honor all who knew him.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Feeding that hungry horde of favored family members may be a little cheaper this year. That according to data from the American Farm Bureau Federation. The average cost of a 16-pound turkey is $21.50. That's actually more compared to $25 in 2024. A 14-ounce box of stuffing, though, that is $3.71 on average, which is down from $4.08 last year. And the average cost for a 12-ounce can of cranberries, it's now $2.28 compared to $2.35. The organization says the average cost of a 10-person dinner about $55, a 5% decrease from 2024.
Delaware's Division of Public Health says all routine vaccines are now available at DPH clinics statewide for anybody who's at least 6 months old. According to the agency, that's flu, RSV, pneumonia, and COVID. Shots are by appointment, and some locations in Sussex include the Bridgeville and Laurel State Service Centers. Here's a live look outside into Cambridge. We have one more check on your weather after this.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, the DeVries Monument in Lewis is getting a well-deserved facelift. The history behind the monument, that story and more coming up on Coast TV News at 6.
Here's where we stand in Ocean City, holding in the 50s, upper 50s now. We do have a gale wind watch. We're bracing for about 35-mile-per-hour winds along the Sussex coast, but then all the other locations, the coast, we're bracing for about 25-mile-per-hour winds. And when that cold kicks in, it's really going to be like tomato. It's just going to be cold. Chuck Burns is our umbrella winner. Congratulations from Lewis. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. Sponsored by the law office of Bruckstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Oh yeah, there's some cold on the way. That Arctic air is about to invade our situation.
You know, Paul, I'm thankful for the weather we had today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little cross at you for the weather we're going to get tomorrow.
And then there's going to be a sequel to the story because next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the saga continues.
All right.
Well, we will stay tuned for that. Thank you, Paul, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.